Welcome to tonight's session. This is the second episode of the Becoming Wealthy podcast with Olaotan Jeremiah. And tonight is going to be another awesome night. And tonight, I tell you, you're going to have a swell time because I'll be discussing with you on how to create wealth from short-term investments. How to create wealth from short-term investments. Now, tonight's session is one of the sessions that you don't want to miss at all because it is absolutely loaded. It is loaded with so much value. I assure you tonight, if you did not get value for your time, then you don't have to watch or listen to me again. But I want to assure you that if you can stay with me till the end, you would really appreciate the time that you are spending with me here on my channel tonight, discussing how to create wealth from short-term investment. Okay, guys, so let's move, let's dive, let's fly into tonight's session because there's no time to wait. It's night already, and so many people, are just taking time to rest. And so I would not also want to waste your time. So, great. My name is Olaotan Jeremiah, and I am a crusader and an educator on wealth creation. For me, I share my journey from poverty to wealth based on, of course, my own experience and my relationship with my wealthy mentor. And so I'm an addict, reader of books, but none of my sessions I've never, come to a live session like this and begin to read books. No, I share with you based on my practical experience with money, and of course, based on my relationship with my wealthy mentor. So, guys, tonight, I hope that you are also going to get the best of this session on how to create wealth from short term investments. Now, let me make you understand something, that the purpose of this session is of course, this session is especially for those, for everyone who has asked one question or the other on investment and wealth creation. And of course, there are so many people who are not interested or who don't want to entrust their money into the hands of another person. Some people are so, very afraid to entrust their money into the hands of another person. But should I tell you something? How is wealth built? How is wealth created? If you must create wealth, you can't do without investment. You cannot do without investment. And I'm going to be sharing with you everything. Of course, not everything, but major things you really need to know about investment. So, if you have ever asked any question on investment, on wealth creation via investment, this session is going to help you answer those questions correctly. And I assure you, it will guide you from making, investment decision. One of my mission in life is to be able to teach people the truth so that they can be able to make better life decision. So also this session tonight is going to help you to make better life decision. So guys, let's push. In my introduction, I said that to get rich quick is not always a scam. I've heard people say so much on the internet and everywhere that get rich quick is a scam. Yeah, I believe so too. I believe so too. Until I came, in contact with knowledge. Until I came in contact with, another point or another view how people view life, how people view things. So in my introduction, I'm saying here that to get rich quick is not always a scam. The truth is there no shortcut to wealth? I mean legally this time around, are there no shortcuts to wealth? There are there are shortcuts to wealth. One of it is investment. One of it is investment. Now take a look at it. If Bill Gates had to build or rely on the money he's making from his business alone to create wealth, do you think he would be regarded as one of the wealthiest, man or men in the universe? Absolutely not. So investment is one of the shortest cuts to wealth creation. So the issue with getting rich quick is not majorly the with those who are preaching or those who are crusading for the scheme. It is with those who are looking for their selfish interests, those who just want to achieve or get their own gain from the immediate trainings or programs they are selling to people. So are there shortcuts to wealth? I'll tell you absolutely yes. But are there also get rich quick, scams? Yes, yes, I must assure you. So wealth creation can quickly be achieved when you leverage on investment. What does investment, what does it mean? What does it mean? Before I give you an introduction or give you a definition on investment, let me quickly talk about wealth itself, because I have decided to take some of these words verbs from the thought from the title to just ensure that I'm able to explain things to you, and from my definition you will be able to know what my passion is when it comes to wealth creation. You get? So wealth for me could mean different things to different people. So many people have defined wealth in different areas. Some have said it could mean acquisition of abundant assets, just acquiring assets. You have acquired real estate in different, locations. Just like I shared the story with you last week of how that a man who is of course late now acquired so much properties that people began, to envy him. People began to talk negative of him after his death, that he had acquired so much properties that he didn't even know the ones that he had. Guys, some people have tagged wealth as acquisition of abundant assets. Asset is anything that brings or puts money into your pocket. That is the simplest definition so far that you can find anywhere in the world. Assets is anything that puts money into your pocket. So, and of course, liability on the other hand is anything that takes money from your pocket. So, some people say that vehicle is the liability. Of course, to an extent, it will be a liability, but to a larger extent, if you're a businessman, your vehicle will actually be your asset as long as it is putting money in your pocket. Now, house too, buildings, properties. It is said that when I was growing up, let me quickly share the story. When I was growing up, I was told that I should not build a house first. Sorry, I should not buy a car first. I should rather build a house because house is an asset and car is a liability. But let me tell you something today. Look, following the definition of what asset means, anything that puts money in your pocket. If you have a building, you build a house, and the house is not bringing in money for you, then you are, it is only a liability to you and not an asset. Now, how do I know that most houses or most buildings don't bring money into people's pockets? Yeah, the the simple truth is this: the government owns the land. You are just privileged to take possession of that portion of land, that piece of land. And so that is why the government still charge land use. You still pay land use on a yearly basis to the government because you just have to pay the land for the land because the land is not. And you know what again? If there's going to be a major development in the area and you don't have a C of O or a legal document to back up the buildings or the land you have acquired, you may also lose the land. That's very simple truth. So, house is not necessarily, an asset per se. It can be a liability too. Of course, it can be a liability if it is taking money away from you. And you know what again? When it comes to maintaining a house, oh, sorry, today I'm not talking about how to build your first house. I'm going to be doing that next week or next 2 weeks or so. But let me just, buttress my point of what liability means and what asset means. So a house needs maintenance. So the more you spend on it, the more it takes money away from your pocket. So anything that takes money away from your pocket is tagged as a liability, and anything that brings money into your pocket is tagged as an asset. Yes, a house can be an asset and it can also be a liability. A car can be an asset and it can also be a liability. A business can be an asset and it can also be a liability. You just have to learn how to position yourself to ensure that you don't get to, be liable to what you are, taking charge or what you have, founded or what you have built or what you have spent money buying. So I said that wealth could mean, acquisition of abundant assets. That's to some people. When they've acquired enough properties, they feel, oh, now I am wealthy. And you can begin to mention some people probably around your environment, around the world, who have enough assets to be qualified or to qualify as a wealthy person. So let's go again. What does wealth means? It could mean to some people, yes, of course, to some people it could mean the ability to live rich after retirement. The ability to live rich after retirement where you don't have to work again, yet you can still afford the same lifestyle that you were accustomed to when you were working. So to some, wealth is when they can be able to still live their their life, their lifestyle, even after retirement. So then to some people, it could be being able to afford living your dreams. You have dreams, you have things that you would have loved to acquire, to accomplish. Now, if you are able to live your dream anywhere in the world, then it could be said that you are wealthy. And to some people, it could mean when they can afford anything in any currency around the world, when they can afford anything whatsoever, and in any currency around the world. So that is wealth to some people. Yeah. And of course, to some people, it could mean the ability to not work again and still have enough to live on. It could mean a state where they don't have to work again and they still have enough to live on. And to some other person, wealth could mean being able to pass on their assets to generations after them. It's not everybody that acquire assets now that can be able to pass it to generations. I mean generations after them. So to some people, if you have been able to acquire enough assets that can be passed to generations, your children, they come to the world, to earth, to still benefit from what you have planted, these assets you have acquired. And I must tell you, whatever wealth is to you, I must tell you, it is a status that must be attained. It's a status that must be attained. So, what then is investment? I love to put my definition in simple terms so that you can get to understand where we are heading, where we are coming from, and where we are heading to. So, to me, investment simply means placing your capital, and most times money. Most times it is money, but not all times. I'm going to tell you more of that. So it means placing your capital in a project, a business, or an offer with the expectation of receiving profits from it after a short or long-term period. When you simply put your capital in a project, a business, or an offer you got, probably through the government or through private organizations or public organizations, and you are expecting profits in return, then that could, you are expecting profit in return, whether in the short term or in the long term, then that's an investment you are making. Investment appreciates in a short or long term period, depending on what is being invested upon. So depending on what you are investing on, investment will always appreciate, except in situations where we have meltdown or economic depression or economic lockdown, no, economic downtime, and people lose your investment, just like we had in 2017. Most people, including myself, bought shares, enough shares. I had enough, I know, and bought shares so much that when the global meltdown occurred, I lost my shares. You understand? So, except in the situations like that, investments they always appreciate. They always appreciate, whether in short term or in long term. Okay, I would like to hear from you. If you are with me, you may kindly drop comments. Let me be sure that you guys can hear me loudly. I want to be sure you can hear me clearly. Yeah, I want to be sure that people can hear me. So that's why I'm keeping quiet. Okay, great. So guys, let's move forward. Let's make progress. So most times, money is what is invested when it comes to investing your capital. And some other times, other things to invest could be your assets, it could be your talent, it could be your expertise, and it could also be your network. Yeah, let me explain something here. I said apart from money, some other things that you can invest could be your assets. You could, give out your property, a space in your property for somebody to use in return, of course, in exchange for maybe, profit or something at the end of the month or year. So it could also be your talent. Probably you are gifted in something and you feel you need to collaborate with another person who has the resources to push it forward. So you could give your own talent as your capital. It could also be your expertise. It could be your expertise. You have learned so much. You are a master at what at the craft, and so you can give your expertise as a capital to something in exchange for profit. And lastly, like I said earlier, it could be your network. You know so many people, you know people, you have people's contact. That may be the capital you are giving out as an investment, to another person. So investment is not only about money. You could also invest some other things. Now let's look at some myths about investment. Myths of investment, myths or lies that have been told by some people that call themselves experts, or some people that antagonize almost everything. Those are people who are not willing or ready to make progress, yet they don't want other people to make the same progress with them. So some persons have said that investing will make you rich at all costs. Now let me tell you the simple truth. Investment makes people rich, makes people wealthy. Investment makes people's finances to rise. But the truth be told, it's not all encompassing. It doesn't have to make you rich. But does it make you rich? Yes. Yes. If you don't invest in the right thing, you don't invest in the right portfolios, it in the right vehicles, it may not give you what you have been desiring, of course, which is to make you rich or make you wealthy. So, and some persons even said that long-term investments are the real deal. Now, I am here tonight to let you know that long-term investments are not only the real deal. You can actually make fortunes from short-term investments. So, then some persons or even said that some returns are small, that they have better offer. The truth is you cannot always get the same return on every investment. You cannot always get the same return. Some returns varies from one vehicle or one platform, one portfolio to another. If you are doing real estate, it is expected that the return should be a bit higher. If you are doing, forex trading, it is expected that the return should be higher than even that of the real estate, because forex market is traded daily, and it is, over 6 trillion US dollars market on it that is being traded on a daily basis. So real estate, of course, is lower to the return on real estate is lower to that of the forex trading. And if it is money market, maybe stocks or treasury bill or mutual funds, every any other investment that you are looking at, the returns will not be as high as that of the other two that I mentioned earlier. So some person says, I got a better offer. I got a better offer. I don't have to do your own. I agree with you, but if you are looking at diversification, you have to do whatever other investment that you know is, of course, is secured, and you get your return back. So you have to also get yourself into such investment. Some persons even say that you should only invest in your business, because if you don't invest in your business, you would only be shooting yourself in the leg. I also say to you that you are a business person and you are not investing your income, your revenue in other things, especially your profit, of course, in other things, then you will be doing your business more harm than good. If you want your business to, scale through, you want your business to, not file for bankruptcy, then it is time to begin to look into investing, even as a business. You could invest in other people's business too. So then some persons also say that investment is only for the rich. I tell you that is absolutely not true. Anybody can invest as long as you are making a monthly income. You are earning monthly income. Investments can be for you. It's not only for the rich. If the rich were to wait till they have money to invest, then nobody would be talking about investment today, or nobody would be talking about, wealth, riches today. So some persons even say that there are no trusted companies, especially in Nigeria, to invest in. Wow. If truly that there are no trusted companies in Nigeria, some of us will not be here. That's the truth. Some of us will not be here because we are so much, committed to ensuring that the things that are not working, we make them work. We will do business with integrity. We ensure that the people who come on our platforms to, take advantage of the things of our offers, we ensure that their funds are safe and they get the return on their investment. So there are there are still trusted companies in Nigeria. Now, what are investment tenors or investment, period? This depends solely on your goal, on, or the vehicle that you have chosen. What I meant by investment tenure is, how long should an investment last? How long should an investment last? Some person said, oh, a month is okay, so that so that you can be sure that you are not losing your money. Well, I'm still wondering what an investment, except for forex trading, probably that you'll be given the chance or the opportunity to trade yourself, and in a month you are talking about your profit, you are cashing out. But it's not always like that in every trade. I have traded forex before, and I know what I am saying. I've trained people. So forex trading may give you what you are, of course, it will always give you what you are asking, what you are looking for, and and at the same time it can also take from you what you have to trade with, what you have to trade with. So, guys, investment periods depend on the investment vehicle that you have chosen. it could be 6 months, it could be, in short, the minimum I recommend to people who are looking for short-term investments is even 6 months. So it could be 6 months, it could be 1 year, it could be 3 years, it could be 5 years. So long you are looking for short-term investment, you can stay within any of these, years that I have just mentioned. Okay, so it depends. It depends on your goal. If what you are desiring to get or to acquire, you have seen a property somewhere, and probably you have made a down payment, and you are looking forward to completing the payment within a short period of time. You could look at investing into something that will be a short-term investment. I'm going to be sharing some of it after now. Short-term investment, and when you now get your investment, you put the money back, or use the money to offset the property that you have acquired. So short-term investment could be between 6 months, between 6 months and 5 years. Medium term could be between 5 and 10 years, while long term investments could be between 20 and above. It depends. It depends on your goal, what you have set to accomplish with the investment decision that you are making. Then let's quickly consider some types of investment vehicles for short-term wealth creation. Types of investment vehicles for short-term wealth creation. Now, I am pleased to mention educational investment as the first investment vehicle for short-term wealth creation. Education-based investment. Truth is this: you cannot do big thing without personal education. You need to be educated first before you can begin to do the things that educated people are doing. Now, when it comes to wealth creation, most people are looking for what to do. You see what to do. What do I need to do to become wealthy? What do I need to do to become wealthy? Most of the time, people get lost at asking this kind of question, because the question is not, shouldn't be what you need to do to become wealthy. It should be, who do you need to become, who do you need to be, then what do you need to be doing. Now, who do you need to be will should always be the first thing to target, because what you need to do will always fall in line with whom you have become. Let me explain that again. Who you need to be should always be your target. When it comes to wealth creation, who you need to be should be your target, because what you need to be doing, or what you need to do to attract wealth, will fall in line or fall in place with who you have become. So you will not need to struggle with, the doing when you have become it. Have you ever asked yourself, why is it that you make the decision to start some things? Probably you want to start practicing how to wake up very early in the morning, read books, and then before you know it, you do exercise. Before you know it, you are on your way out to work. How come you don't get to do that for a very long time before you find yourself, slipping off again, neglecting your exercise, neglecting books that you should have read? So you now begin to have pile up of books on your table, and so what happened? It is because you have not become the person who wakes up early in the morning, the person who reads books without stress, without being compelled to do it. It is because you have not become the person. That is why you are finding it difficult to sustain those exercises or the reading culture. So education based investment is the first investment that you must do. There is no investment that is greater than personal education. You have to first educate yourself to being the person. before you begin to do what the person is doing, what wealthy people are doing. Now, you must be willing to learn at this point. You must be willing to learn. Now, if you want to really become wealthy, you must be really willing to learn so many things. So many things. Be willing to learn numbers, be really willing to think in numbers, be willing to see money with your mind. You have to be willing to know how to read financial statements. You have to show interest in this thing. You have to become somebody who reads financial statements, somebody who, talk in numbers, somebody who sees money with his mind and not with the eyes, somebody who is interested in figures and not just the end product or the physical cash. So personal education, very, very, very important. You remember, if you don't become who you are aspiring to become, you don't become it. If you don't become it, you may end up not attracting it. You may end up not attaining that person, not becoming the person. So you have to be by educating yourself. And today, there are so many platforms where you can begin to educate yourself. Just like I have a blog that I run, becomingwealthyblog.com. If you if you are interested in learning about financial education, you read up blog posts from my blog, you listen to listen to podcasts on wealth creation, you join live sessions like this, you watch YouTube videos, you read articles, you read books, you attend seminars, and what have you, so many other platforms or areas by which you can begin to develop your education-based investment. So the second aspect of it is money-based investment. Now, there are short-term securities, just as I mentioned earlier. There are short-term securities. It is There are short-term securities, and of course there are long-term security. Now, when it comes to money-based investment, what you invest here is your money. Your money, you earn salary somewhere, and then you don't have to spend the entire salary. Let's take for example, if in a year, if in a year you earn up to 2 million naira. What am I saying? If in a year you earn up to 5 million naira, do you spend the entire 5 million naira in the course of the year? Let's take for example, you spend a maximum of 80% of the 5 million naira. Now, what is expected of you to do with the remaining 20% is to begin to invest it. Begin to invest it. Invest in yourself, get yourself educated, and of course, you can also begin to invest the money in some other things that I'll still mention after now. Then the third investment type for short-term wealth creation is asset-based investment. Asset-based investment. Now, I'm still going to come back to these three, but let me just quickly mention it. Now, when it comes to asset-based, this may most likely, of course, this is always um, an investment in real estate. This is always an investment in real estate. When you choose to invest on any asset-based investment, then you should begin to consider real estate. If you don't have a special talent that you want to invest in, probably you love to sing and you would like to wax an album, because an album could actually be your own real estate. It could be a reality where you keep earning money from. You understand what I'm saying? So asset-based investment is also a type of investment that you can begin to look at. Now, let me share with you some short-term investment vehicles that you can begin to take advantage of beginning from today. Short-term investment vehicles. Now, just like I shared, there are education-based investments, money-based investments, and asset-based investment. So under the asset-based investment, we could look at land banking. Land banking. Now, what does land banking mean? It simply means that you bought a property from a company or from an individual who also promises you that at the end of a particular period, he's going to buy the property back from you. He's going to buy back, yeah, the property. Let's say, for example, we have, a platform called Omify.ng, where you can buy a property and for 6 months or 12 months, depending on the one you choose, we will buy back the property from you and you earn up to 50% return on the property. Let's take, for example, the lowest of the properties that we have on our land banking of our platform is just 1.5 million naira. I mean 1.5 million naira. It's as low as that. That is why I said that you can always leverage on short-term investment to create wealth. Now, this investment is only for a minimum of 6 months and a maximum of 1 year. And that is just within the short-term investment opportunity that I have been sharing with you from this since the beginning of this session. So once you buy the property, most of the times it's landed property, of course, land. So once you buy the land, we also guarantee you, yes, it is absolutely a guarantee that we are going to buy back the land from you at the end of 6 months or 12 months, depending on the one you choose. So let's say, for example, you buy the property for 5 million naira and you are bargaining with us that we should buy back the land from you at the end of 12 months. So you buy the land and of course at 50% return. You buy the land for 5 million. At the end of 12 months, we are buying back the land from you for 7.5 million naira. That means you have ended up making up to 50% return on your investment. 50% return on your investment. So that is a short-term investment. Land banking is what you cannot go wrong with. Another one is land flipping. Land flipping. See, when it comes to property flipping, it's also similar to that of the land banking. Property flipping it simply means you buy a property, you give it a little or no facelift, and then you sell it off. Yeah, that is how it works. You buy a property, you give it little or no facelift, and then you sell it off. And you keep doing that. Of course, when you are doing this, you are buying these properties in areas where you know that people will easily buy the property back from you. So property flipping is another short-term, investment that you can begin to take advantage of. Yes, then there is another one called rental or shortlet services. Rental or shortlet services. Now, when it comes to rental or shortlet services, this is simply, getting accommodation or apartment from people who already, built this apartment. And all you do is to rent the property from them, and then you now rent it out to those who are looking for shortlets. You can imagine how much you make when you rent a property somewhere in Lekki, Lagos for 1.8 million naira or 2 million naira, depending on the type of property you have seen, and then you rent it out. And on a monthly basis, you are making a minimum of 500,000 naira from it on a monthly basis, and that lasts for another 1 year. That is a short-term investment that you can take advantage of. Short-term investment that can make you more money and of course make you more wealthy. And with it, you can acquire more properties. Okay. So what other properties or other short-term investments do I have to share with you? It could be you could as well take advantage of it's a major supply that somebody has taken or has been given. Most likely, just like recently, I got a mail in my inbox, and what the company in India was interested in is for me to help for us rather to help them get proper raw materials here in Nigeria, somewhere in the north, and then you know export it to them. They make all the payments and just export it to them. Well, why you have to be careful with some of those offers, I must say that there are some offers like that. If you find yourself in the right, environment or the right network of people who are flipping, who are doing this service, who are buying raw materials and exporting it. So you could be part of a major supply of raw materials. Probably there is a real estate company that is building up, that is, developing their properties. You could supply them material. You could supply them material, knowing fully well that once they begin to make sales of that property, you earn from it. You earn from it. So you should be part of a major supply of raw materials. And once that is done, you begin to earn your money from there. Then another thing you can do when it comes to short-term investment is that you could, invest in currency investment. Just as I said, money-based investment. When you invest your money on some investment like treasury bill is a short-term investment. Those treasury bill you can't buy directly, you have to buy through security houses. But then when you buy treasury bill, it's a short-term investment, you make money from it. Don't forget the reason we are talking about short-term investment is so that we could help those who are looking for a way to create wealth in a short term within let's say 5 years, and those who are skeptical about leaving their money in the hands of other people for a very long term. That's why we are doing this short-term investment opportunity class. So you could invest in treasury bill. You could even invest with private companies, private organizations. Just like in our own organization, we give people the opportunity to invest as low as 50,000 naira. I mean, as low as 50,000 naira, and in return, they get up to 45% return on the investment. That is that is what has been happening around us, and so many people are not taking advantage of it. And I believe that at the end of this class, by the time you listen to this video, you would have taken advantage of some of this opportunity. Then you could also do short-term investment on any digital-based, business, any digital-based business. You see, one of the blessings of the internet is that it has helped the way businesses turn over turn over profit or turn over revenue or cash flow. It has helped the way businesses make money. It has helped the way businesses, in the back when it comes to traditional, or let me say, of course, offline business. Before you start, you think of so many things. Office space, you think of, I mean, so many things. Customers to buy, how to talk to them, how to go to radio, I'm going to do advertisements, how to, employ marketers, sales executives that will help you market and reach out to these people. But you know what? With digital-based businesses, you can even get started within a week. All you will do to get the right customer on your team is to just run a simple advert with Facebook, Instagram, or with Google and any other platforms where you can reach your customer. Even as little as email, people also get to sign up for to buy products and services via emails. So digital-based businesses can help you get your investment back in a short term. Okay. Now let me clarify this. You don't have to be the one to start the business. If you have seen a promising business, maybe a young person, a young man or woman who has passion for a particular digital business, and you feel you can work with that person, great. You can invest in the business while the person do the running around, and before you know it, you make money from it. Of course, you have to do your legal backings, you have to do your legal agreement so that nobody will have begin to share stories that touch. You get what I'm saying? So all of these short-term investments are very much available. There are some I will not be able to mention in this class because I need to end this class anytime soon. I don't like to make this class lengthy. So you can get in touch with me if you need more clarification on any of these things that I have mentioned. Don't forget, I mentioned about land banking, where you buy the property and we buy it back from you. I mentioned about land flipping, property flipping, where you buy a property, give it a small a facelift of no little or no facelift at all, and then you sell it off higher than the amount you bought it. Or you even do short-let services where you rent a property, an apartment, and then you still rent it out to those who are interested in, getting a short-term, a short-let accommodation. And like I said, you could do money-based investments like treasury bill. You could, invest with some other companies who have given the opportunity for people to invest in their businesses. Then you could do digital-based business where, example of that is even lending service. Lending service is really making money these days. So it's a, digital-based business. And if you know what you are doing, you can partner with people who have interest in this kind of business or any other business that is digitally based. And like I said earlier, you could also be part of a major supply. You provide the money while the supply is done, and once the supply is done, the money gets or comes back to you. And of course, you share profits. You share profits of whatever comes from the supply. So, guys, those that is where we are going to stop this session tonight. I want to believe that you have learned greatly from tonight's session. So I would like to hear from you. I want to hear from you. I want to drop your comment. I want to drop your question in the comment box, and I will be attending to it whenever I come online. Please don't also forget to subscribe to this channel, and you can also share with your friends. And when you subscribe, do well too to put on the notification button so that you can get to see every of my uploads, future uploads or future live events like this. So guys, I want to believe that you have learned, and I'm willing to answer some of your questions when you have any. Don't forget, if you don't take action with the things that you have heard, it will make no meaning, and you will not be building or creating wealth for yourself in the short term. Thank you, and do enjoy a blessed night. Bye.